Nikki B, welcome to Jason Unleashed, man. Good to see you.
Great to see you. I was waiting to see how long it was going to take for you to ask me to come on the show now, but I'm here.
Were you? I mean, come on, man. I had to have you on the show. You're out here killing it. Season 5, The
Hey,
Oval,
oh,
coming up on a huge finale. This season has been out of control. You came in
great.
studio. We talked about Alan. We talked about all the things, but now we're at the end. How are you feeling?
It's crazy to think it's been 5 seasons is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, it's one crazy long roller coaster, but 5 seasons, man, just first and foremost, to the fans and the audience tuning in every week, it's just crazy to think how much love and support we get every Tuesday night. So shout out to all the fans for keeping it going this long. But season 5 has been a fun one. And this finale is explosive. And
Oh,
I'm really excited to see, how the fans and the viewers react. But yeah, crazy ride it's been. Season 5 has definitely been a favorite of mine, and I'm looking forward to keep this thing going.
we are too. Can we run it back to before you started on the show? You got cast in 2019. We're going to talk about the Tyler Perry of it all, but people don't know that you were a journalist before. You had been cutting your teeth in Hollywood on red carpets, doing all the things before you became this breakout star of the show. What was it about acting that you thought you had to pursue?
I've always had a strong passion for acting. I mean, really, the entertainment industry as a whole. Thinking back to even third or fourth grade, my parents will tell you I was in the living room interviewing my brothers as if red carpets or after a sports game. The broadcast side and hosting has always been a passion, but acting really was really always the dream. And I didn't really know how to quite get there. The acting industry is a crazy one, and there's really no true blueprint, right, to really
Right.
break through. So I knew I had to hit the ground and get on the scene, and I thought to myself, all right, I'm passionate about hosting and having these conversations with talent and professionals, and I know if I pursue this, I'll eventually get into the doors and into the events and be able to really network while having fun and doing something I love. And who knows where it can lead, what doors can open up. And that's exactly what happened. While I was, covering red carpets and freelancing for this publication or covering this event, I was always shaking hands and trying to figure out how to, attack at other angles
Sure.
and find some new doors. And I love this quote that I often post. It's your hard work is unlocking doors that you may not see yet. And that's exactly kind of how my life went. And still to this day, I'm always trying to learn and be a sponge. But I guess to really simplify it and to answer your question, acting has always been a dream. And I had to make a decision to really go full force. And Tyler Perry and the Oval, they allowed me to do that. They allowed me to do that, and I'm forever grateful to Mr. Perry and Tyler Perry Studios for giving me the job with the Oval, and you know even saying I'm a working actor. I think we spoke about this last time. Still sounds kind of funny, but you got to embrace it. This is a very discouraging industry as well, right?
Ah,
If I had
right.
$1 for every no I've gotten from an audition, or every moment that I questioned if this was really going to work out, I'd be retired on an island already, hanging out, with my feet in the sand. But you know, people that are just starting out in the industry and they always ask me for advice, it sounds cliche, but it's just about being consistent and not giving up.
Word. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've had plenty of moments. I mean, I was a server at a restaurant back home on Long Island for many years, and having to do odd jobs right in between gigs, and there were always those moments, but I kind of always shook that off. I never really had a plan B because I always thought it would distract me from plan A.
Yeah.
And I never really, um, although those moments were real, and there were tears, and there were, there was anxiety, and I felt even judgment from others, right? Like, what is this guy doing, early on. But it's important to really block that noise out, and that dream was planted in your heart for a reason.
What you said about your plan A, I'm gonna, J-Lo, I'm a massive J-Lo fan, but even someone with her success also said the same thing that was similar to your sentiment in that there's no plan B. Because if you have the plan B, that's your fallback plan, which your plan A should be your fallback plan and should be the plan in its totality. And the ups and the downs in this business are so drastic and so extreme. You have majestic highs and very devastating lows, but it's really the success. And I'm finding in myself, I've been doing this for 30 years, and even still now in the low points, you have to remember what your why is. When you got the Oval,
Yeah.
I'm sure prior to that, you had dreamed and thought, when I land my first really big gig, how it's going to feel, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to flex that to the
Yeah.
people who told you no. What was that moment like for you? Did it feel like you thought it was going to feel?
Oh, for sure. I mean, still, even to this day, there are moments when I have to pinch myself because I truly am living my dream. Just to backtrack a little bit, to go, back to the ups and downs. I forgot who said it, but I saw a reel or something pop up on Instagram not too long ago, and I saved it. But an actor, was kind of talking about the ups and downs, and he said, um, without the ups and downs, you flatline, right?
Hmm.
So you need those to kind of survive and keep pushing forward and keep going. And I love that. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of pinch me moments for sure. Obviously, meeting Tyler Perry, who was such an inspiration, and you know, just his star power in general, right? Was unreal, really. That was a moment where he helped me find my way, right? I think I
Hmm.
mentioned this too, right? He shines so bright that he allows others to find his way. I mean, the fact that he saw something in me and he gave me a shot, I mean, right then and there, I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. That was such a crazy moment. And there's been so many of those now. His studio opening, and he's got this 330-acre studio down in Atlanta, and I was lucky enough to attend the opening. And one of the taglines all over at the event was, uh, "Imagine this," right? And he talks about his studio being a place where even dreams believe.
Yeah.
So being around that energy with Tyler in his studio, there are those moments all the time, right? I
Mhm.
mean, my dressing room at the studio is in the dream building. It's just about, always dreaming bigger, and um, the studio, to go back to the studio opening. I mean, so many uh, so many influential people were there, and mega stars, where I'm in the room with all these amazing, talented people. Wow. And I'm here for a reason, and
Yeah.
I and that was special, and probably the most inspiring night of my life. But just being on set for the first time, right? Rapping my first season and hearing my name, that's a rap on Nick Barrotta. There's been so many moments that I'll cherish. And I'm starting to write some things down now, and my friends and my wife, we talk about how I need to start journaling more, because there are a lot of these moments that come and go, and you're like, you got to go back to those, and it's important to really remember and live in those and cherish them. But I'm lucky enough to have a lot of those moments, and I don't take anything for granted.
Family is so important to you. And being a dad now, we see on social media, I mean, you are just so in love with your daughter. Becoming a father, in that moment, the moment you held your baby for the first time, how did your life change? And I know that's a really basic question, but it's so different for everyone, because everyone, the fibers of your life,
Yeah.
the moments of your life leading up to that all become so clear. What was that clarity for you? What did you think, like, wow, how is
Man.
my life going to be going forward?
Yeah. Well, it is hard to describe. That moment, talk about moments, right? Like you said, that was my favorite one ever, right?
Mhm.
In that one right there, when I was able to hold her for the first time. You know, talk about the anxieties and this and that. Everything's out the window.
Sure.
In the moment, everything's gone. And even now, too, 7 months later, when I hold my daughter, nothing else matters. I think the biggest thing so far, I've spoken about this on my podcast a bit with some new fathers. You're so much more grounded, right? And your priorities are just where they're supposed to be, and the energy that you're putting out in every day now goes towards things that truly matter, and you realize how much time was wasted, or where you put energy that necessarily didn't matter, but it's everything. And I got to give credit to my mother and father, and I have three brothers actually, so it's four of us. And just my upbringing, my grandmother, I mean, family, we grew up knowing the importance of family, and having that bond with my brothers and my parents, and them instilling the values and lessons and morals in me. I mean, it's all I know, and that's really the fuel, I think, for me every day is wanting to do right by my family, make my family proud. And now being a father, I mean, you know, I'm going that much harder now for my own daughter and my wife and my family. So it's special. It's amazing. And I hope, you know, everyone is able to feel something similar to that, whether it's, they're lucky enough to have a child of their own, or not, but that moment is incredible. And I hope that everyone can feel something similar to that in their own life.
You go along in life being pulled, right? You think, okay, your career is going this way. You think you have this idea of what things should look like. And then something happens that shows you what things should look like. And
Sure. Yeah.
you're shook a little bit in a good way, but then you're like, thank God that I had something that grounded me. As you said, you were grounded and you found what really mattered. And it
Yeah.
only just informs everything else that you're doing. Your Here's to Life podcast, which is awesome. I'm loving the conversations that you're having with these people, because they're real conversations. There's a lot of podcasts out there now that are just superfluous and fluff, but you're like, no, let's talk about real shit.
Yep. Yep.
What was the genesis of that? When did you decide, or why did you decide that, hey, I need to use my platform to further these conversations and be of service to my people, my followers, my community, other actors, other fathers?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of, or I've had a lot of conversations with industry professionals over the years, actors, athletes, uh, whatever, musicians, you name it, right? And I've noticed that the conversations I've had with a lot of these people, man, be beyond social media and beyond what you see, there's a kind of a new space that's untapped with a lot of these people, right? About their life and the journey and the ups and downs, and I've been saying the in between. So it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, to just bring on these people and dive in a little bit deeper. Forget the highlight reels, forget forget the photo shoots. Let's talk about when you got cut from the team. Let's talk about that breakup. Let's talk about your mental health in a moment when you lost something that something detrimental. I mean, it's real. We're all just regular people here, and I thought, why not create a space where we can strip down all that glitz and glam, and let's get down to it. And it's been just that. I feel like it's just like a couple of guys or friends talking, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be. So the fact that I've gotten some messages now about, oh, I love your podcast, and thank you for sharing that, and oh, I didn't know that about you, or I didn't know that about your guest, thank you. I feel like I really connect. I had a Zach Clark was just on,
Mhm.
on The Bachelorette, and his story was incredible, and we dove into addiction and the disease there and what he had to overcome. And so many people reached out to me about, wow, thank you for sharing this, right? This helped me. And that's all I can ask for. Just being able to connect with people and help people, and if anything, just let people see it's okay to be, just be you.
when I first met you, I thought this dude's like super like Mission Impossible status. Like you seem like an action star
Yeah,
material.
hey.
I think it's gonna happen for you. I mean, you have such a strong foundation in everything you do. What is a motto that you live by that no matter what is non-negotiable?
I think it's just hard work brings great rewards. I think that's just the bottom line. And no dream is too big. My father, he always left me notes growing up, and still to this day will send me emails and texts, and you know, uh, a lot of it was the cliche stuff, right? Never give up, and the things you hear often, and those are the things that I feel like, you know, just remain true and are real to everybody in any industry, in anything that you're moving forward with. I mean, there's no shortcut to success, right? Uh, you know, um, you know, there's no such thing as luck, right? It's just when opportunity, is there, right? I mean, there's so many things, but really, it's just about hard work brings great rewards, and I think that people need to remember that it's not an easy road to overcome, to get to where you're trying to go, but it's worth the fight and worth the walk, and that growth will come, and you'll get to the other side, and it's well worth it. And then you keep chasing, right? Matthew McConaughey, I love it when he, in that awards speech, he said his hero was always him in 5 years, or his hero was always him in 10 years, because when he got there, he wanted to continue to chase a better version of himself, right? And I love that. It's just about putting in the work and staying consistent.